Hey guys, welcome back to my another video. In this video is also going to be about the C Sharp, and in this video I'm going to show you how we can parse the XML data using in C Sharp, and I'm going to use the couple of the libraries to parse the data. The first one is I'm going to use the XDocument, and I'm going to show you guys how we can use the XDocument to parse the XML. And another ways I'm going to show you is to how we can also parse using the XML document and using the XPath. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys two ways to do it. There are a lot of ways to do it to parse the XML. There are a lot of libraries over there in internet, and you guys can also check in other in Google's. I mean, there are a lot of sources how we can parse it. But in this video, I'm going to only show you the two ways, and I'm going to go really basic to parse the XML. Okay, so this is my XML which I'm going to parse, and this XML also has a namespace which so I'm going to parse with the namespace. Okay, so now let me show you what I have in my program here. So this is my program, and I have already a couple of these the function which I created for the previous video. In previous video I show you how we can create the XML using the X document. If you guys are interested, then how you can check that video, I'll put that link below this. And in this video I'm going to show you how we can parse it. Okay, so here I have already created all the main functions, and the main functions I have something called my XML parse class, and it's calling this method, and this method is not been defined. That's why it's giving me error here. And that file is this one, my XML parse. And here what I'm going to create is I'm going to create the static function. So public static void and the name of that file, which is a book X document parse. So I'm going to use the X document to parse the book XML here. And now the error is gone because this function will call first, and after that it will call and program will end. So I'm going to close this my program because I don't have to open any program now because it will call this one first. Okay, so now let's use the X document to parse this book. So in this book, maybe let's assume we want to get the data from here, right? Then how we can achieve a data from using here, and it has also a couple of the namespace here. So let's do it. And the first thing, we need to import the XML.link to use a X document and X element, stuff like that. And you guys can also check the Microsoft Doc there. There are very good documentation over there. So now let's do the X document, and let me create call the XML file. It will return me XML file. And XDocument has something called the parse and load function. If you have a XML in a string file, then you can use a parse, and then it will use as a parse. But if you have in a file somewhere sitting there in a folder, then you have to use a load here. So I will use a load, and I have the book here which is sitting in my project. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab that path. What is the path is? So to do that, I will just open my copy the full path right here. So I'll copy the full path, and oh, it's gonna return me the full path, which I don't want. I'll just want up to here, and I'm gonna call here called book.xml. Okay, so I just need to add a add here to remove that error. So now I have my XML loaded here, which is good. So now what I need to do is I need to let's assume I want to get this name. Okay, so to do that, I need to grab this, and I need to tell that my XML is loading this one. And in a time when the XML is loading one, just grab the fc child3 element and give me this one. So to do that, I need to do XML done, and I need to use a descendant function. And here I can specify where I have to look it. I have to look it right here. Okay, that's all. And once I have looked it here, then it will return me the I enumerable of the X element. Okay, so it will return me our X element. So I'll write here X element and X elements. Okay, because it's going to return me a couple of the X elements. So I need to loop this to get the data. So I'll just use a for each here. So once I use a for each, then I will return the X element of what I can give any name in where in X elements right here. So now in element here, now I can able to do a console log. I know it's going to throw me an error, but let me run this. Okay, so inside here now, what do we want to get? We want to get a value, right? I know I'm pretty sure it's going to throw me an error, and I want to show you guys what's the error is going to throw. Okay, Here it is. It says that dot because I'm using the namespace of the prefix called fc, and it's complaining that the dot character in the hexadecimal is not included in a name. So that's why it's complaining here, right here. Okay. So this is how we get an error if we didn't add a namespace, because we have a namespace in our XML. So to get rid of that issue, we need to create our X namespace here. Okay. So in X namespace, what is the namespace name? Okay, so I'll just give as a namespace for n, and this is going to be fc. And what is the fc of the namespace? And fc is defining right here www.fortcoffee.com. So I'll just copy this one and I'll just use a namespace in the front of this. And once I use this now, so if I run it, then I will still see the data error, because the reason is I don't need now this one. Okay, I don't need it. So I'll just use this one here. So now here it is, C content tree. So let's remove this and just try to load a child tree. So do we get an error? Let's see it. Yep, looks like it's trying to look for the child tree, and inside the for loop it doesn't find it and it doesn't go inside it. That's why it's giving me on nothing. So it doesn't find it. If you really want to find the child tree, if I wrote it down as maybe do a child tree, just change the XML here. Okay, change the XML here, child tree, and this doesn't have any prefix, I mean the namespace for this one. So let me write, see, now it's find it, but if you have a namespace, then you need to specify the namespace. Okay, I'm going to remove this now and I'm going to add a namespace back again. So this is how you can add a namespace, and this is how you can easily parse using the XDocument. So now let's me give you another example. There is another way to do it, and let me write another way, and that's using the XPath. And let me do XPath. Okay, so this is going to be XPath way. So let me parse using the XPath. I will create another pop static function here called book XPath. So I'm gonna go to my main program, and I'm gonna change this to book XPath parse. Okay, instead of the book XDocument. So now when I change it, it looks good. So now this will call, and this one now I want to parse it using XPath. And if you guys didn't know what's a XPath, XPath is a way where you can how the XML it's going to tell you the where's the all the query of the path is located, and it's a query language for selecting node from XML documents. You can read about the XPath how it really works, but here is really good tool which you guys can use called XPather. And this one you can add your XML and you will get the location of it. Of course, you can also do a lot of stuff like greater than, equal than, stuff like that. But let me go back to my book XML and I will put it here. This is just to make a life easier, guys. So here I use this XPath and it's selecting all my XML. It's AW root 1, which is selecting all my root AW root 1 here, which is AW, and root 1 is basically specifying the first of it. Okay, this is how we can use it. We can also go to the down to FC. So I also use the FC child. Okay, now it's selecting my FG child here. As you guys can see, it's selecting my FG child, and here I can also see my element content. All right, what are the element content? So we could use this tool using in .NET program right here using the XPath. So I'm going to show you guys how we can do it. The first thing we need to use our XML document. Okay, and XML document is not in the system.xml link class at all. We need to import that and another a class called system.xml. So this guy has XML document. Okay, so here we will get the XML and we'll create a new XML here, new XML document. Okay, so once we have created new XML, then we can load the XML here. So it's the same thing over here also. We can load the XML if we have in string, but if we have in somewhere in the path, then we have to use a load here. So once we use a load, let me grab this, the same exact path, and I'm going to put it right here. So now we have the XML. Okay, so once we have this XML here in the XDocument, now we can use the XPath. To do XPath, there is a couple of these functions here called selecting single node or select nodes where you have a multiple node list, and you can use this, but I will use the select single nodes. So basically now here we need to provide the path where it's going to be. Let me grab this, and let me grab, you know what, let me create a child 3 here, and C4, maybe create a child 4, child 4 without the namespace. So this guy doesn't have a namespace, so I'll create C4 contain, okay, without namespace. So I'll just copy this XML and go to my XPath. So once I have it here, I'll just remove this, then I'll just grab this, and once I grab this, it's gonna tell me where is the location is. Once I grab it, then it's already told me, okay, my C3 is right here, but it doesn't find my C4. So now let me find myself here. Let me do the work. Okay, C4 contain 1. Here it is. It's already checking it. It's already selecting the color, and here it is. So this is my XPath. So I'll just copy this, and I will just put it right here. Okay, so once I put it right here, now it's gonna return me the node. It's gonna return me a node, but in a node, what we can do, we can get the inner text. So once I get an inner text, then it's gonna return me a string of it, child 4. Okay, child 4, and here I will get a C4 content 4 is my name here. Okay, and let me print this out, and control right line. Okay, so I'll just put it here. So now let me print out this. Okay, let me print out this. Here it is, C4 content 4, which is this one. So basically we can provide our XPath here when we getting a single node, and we could able to get this. Okay, so I'm just using this one for without has a namespace. But let's assume we want something called this one, which has a namespace called FC, right? Namespace of the prefix called FC. If we want this, then how we can get it? So if I put it then this guy, right, and okay, now this is selecting FC child 3, which is content 1, which is this one. I think we don't want this one at all, because this I already know that this has only one content here. So I can grab this, and let me add this here. Does it going to return or no, or it's going to throw some error? Let's find out. Okay, now it's giving me the another error called this query has a prefix or variable, or let me check whether it's the more error. Prefix, okay, prefix, variable, or user defined functions, right? The namespace manager or XSLT context is needed. Okay, so because this has the colon here and it's using a namespace, now we need to use something called namespace manager to take care of this namespace. Okay, what is going to be? So let me do the XML namespace manager. So let's create a namespace manager. Okay, so new XML namespace manager here. So once we create a manager, now we could able to add our namespace, right? We could able to add our namespace, and to add a namespace is basically nothing. We just need to prefix and URI. We just need to add a prefix and a URI for this one. The prefix is going to be FC, and we need to specify what's FC is. Right here is it will specify what's the FC is going to be. So I'll put the FC here. So it's now our manager has been created. Of course, yeah, we got the error here. We need to specify here which of the XML we are using it. So in the XML here, we just use as a name table. So here in XML, we specify the XML as a name table. So once we using this one, now we need to tell that in single node, every time when we're using a single node, Then we will also has the call the namespace. So I will just add my namespace right here. Now it will know that what is the namespace is going to be. So now let's run it and let's see we got any error or not. Okay. Here we go. We didn't get any error. We just get the C3 content. Oh, I forgot to mention you guys before here how we can get the attribute value, right? So let me do a string small here. I know why I pick it, but anyway, let me get this here. It's called something called different child, and it has something called AW. And let me get this test, okay? So to get how we can get the attribute value, okay? You know what? I'm gonna leave it this one right here, child 4, and I'm gonna create another one to get the attribute value. And to get the attribute value, the first thing I'm going to show you this one, and later on I'm going to show you this one, okay? But for this this way is how we can get it. So the first thing is I need to get this, right? And to get this, of course, we could use this one uh, to get the XPath. What is the XPath of this one, right? So here it is. AW do a difffer. I'll just copy this XPath. Right here, I got AW and different child, and this is the other content is printing, but we are interested on this attribute here. So I will grab this and I will go back here where it is. Here it is. So I will use this here, right here, and my AW is a different prefix. It's not the FC prefix at all. It's a different prefix. So to do that, I will add in my namespace manager here. So I'll tell that my namespace manager there is another attribute, it's not attribute or maybe a prefix called AW, and this is the value or URL for AW, okay? And I want this manager to be here, okay? So once I have it here, so now it's selecting this one and it's getting an inner text, right? But we don't want to get inner text. We are interested on the attribute. Okay, attribute of what, right? What is the attribute of it? So we're interested on the attribute of something called my content. Okay, so let me do this. This is attr. I'll just write attr my content. What is the my content dot value? We could use an inner text or we can use a value here. So now we'll use a value and I will print it out the attribute here. So let's see if we could able to get this test or not. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, it's running it. Here it is. We get the attribute value using the XPath as well. So I didn't show you how we can get it here, but this is exact same way how we can get it here. So I'll just go in I'll just close this book and I'll just go in the main program. And in the main program now I'm calling this method called book XPath parse, but I will copy the book XDocument parse and I will paste it here. So now it's going to call this function and I'm trying let grab the same content here. Okay, so to do that, the first thing I don't want this program on this one. Okay, I got here the child 3 which I'm getting it, but I don't want child 3. I want a different child here, so I'll just paste it here, something called different child, and it has something called AW namespace. Okay, so I'll just change to namespace called NAW, which I haven't defined it, so I need to define what is the namespace was going to be for this one. So this is the namespace has a different one, which is this one. I'll just copy this and I will put it here. Okay, so now I do have a namespace and I have the namespace prefix or namespace, and here is a different child. So now here, the first thing now I will get the other content, and let's see we get the other content print or not. Okay. Okay, other content is printing, which is good. Now the next step is we need to get this attribute here, and it's exact same thing how we can get it here right here. So instead of the element.value, we'll use something called attributes here again. And in attributes, we need to specify what is the attribute, the key of it, and is a called content. And inside the content, let me try to get here. Let me see. Here is a attribute, attributes. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It should be like this. It's not like array, but we should get like this. Okay, attribute. Now we could able to get. Okay, now we could able to get it. So now let's run it. Oh, it's just printing me the locations of it. So we don't want the location of it. Now we want to hold on, guys. Attribute. Oh, this is the one, not attributes. It should be attribute. And now here we could able to get the let me get the value, the exact same one. Now if I run it, here it is, the test is the added value which are we are trying to get it, and this is how we can get it, guys. So that's all for this video. I'm gonna put the code in a GitHub. I hope you guys learned something new, and if you guys like my video, please do subscribe and give a like. Thank you very much, guys. Bye for now.